So I entitled this video, What to Do When Your Man is a Flighter, Not a Fighter, because many men need to get away from any hint of confrontation. And it's very important that you handle yourself well in this situation so you can help heal this issue, deal with this issue, and move forward in your relationship, because it doesn't mean that your man cannot be in a relationship and it grow. Okay, so before we get to that, who am I? I'm Coach Paula Grooms, a dating and relationship coach. I'm a licensed social worker and author of the book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. I'm happy you're here, and I want to give you a lot of information today that will help you if you are in a situation like this. As I said, many women find themselves with a man who flees any kind of confrontation, even any hint of it. He can do this in all manner of ways. When he knows something is coming, he will not be in touch, he will not be connected, he will not want to talk. And this can really tweak you, because you, if you are a woman, you want to connect. And as you know, one of my main gender gaps is, we women relate via verbalization, men relate via action. So a man will retreat, he won't connect, and certainly will not want to talk when things are not going well. He will seem to you like he doesn't want to work through things, like he doesn't care enough. And I don't want you to make that assumption. That assumption is going to hurt you, because it may not be that at all. He just doesn't know how to handle things in a more appropriate way. Certainly he doesn't want to verbally talk about it. He wants it to go away. Well, as we know, that is not really going to work very well, but to the degree that you want this relationship, you need to take 100% responsibility for being in it and helping things go the distance by what you do with this. It's been in the news, so readily now. I mean, it's been all over the news this past week, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. And Johnny was, certainly in this relationship with Amber, he was a flighter. They talked about it in the trial, and no matter what you think about the outcome, certainly their relationship, it was talked about and brought forth that he wanted to flee all the time when they began fighting. And he would want to go away for a few hours and need to get away from it so that it didn't escalate. And God forbid if you are in a situation like this, meaning that you are the Amber Heard in this situation, meaning you keep going at things via verbalization when a man is very clear about he wants to leave, calm down, needs to get away, you need to let that happen. And it's going to be how you do that, and then what you do afterwards. Because you are not going to change that in the moment. Think about it. Change is transformation. That takes time. That takes healing. That takes a multitude of things that you are not going to fix in that moment by continuing to talk, to want him to do something he's feeling incapable of doing at the moment. Again, if you make the assumption that he doesn't care enough to work it out, and I think in that trial, if I'm not mistaken, there were tapes, absolutely tapes of him saying, I need to leave, you need to let me leave. He would trap himself in the bathroom to get away from it. Again, whatever you think of their relationship, and would it have been better had he been able to talk through it? Well, actually, likely in this situation, given the dynamics of what we're talking about here, no. The discussion wouldn't have gotten them anywhere. I think he likely knew that, and so it was a lost cause, so he just wanted to remove himself. But if you are dealing with a man who's doing this, and you are not of the dysfunctional level of someone like Amber Heard, meaning you don't keep coming at him, but he just retreats. For example, he knows something is brewing. He knows there's discontent, so he just flees before it even comes up, and you don't hear from him. That's really tough on you. Really, really tough. That's going to take a high level of you working on yourself. And I work in a fashion that I think is very helpful to you. And that is working with a two-pronged approach, meaning what works in the here and now with the man you are with and the specific man, the specifics of your situation, but also with mindfulness. And mindfulness, in my case, in terms of what I'm talking about, how I work with manifesting and knowing that you are going to affect change. You are going to get what you want in your relationship. You're going to heal this. It's going to be beautiful. You know it's going to work out. And staying in that divine knowing. And how you do that, I suggest many different ways. As I said, I work with it myself. I work with my clients in doing this. But again, I recommend, as you've heard me say here, go and look at manifesting coaches. I particularly like Joseph Alai, Sylviane Nuccio, Simply Create with Elle, and Dylan James. Those folks deal with the Neville Goddard approach to manifesting that is super helpful in keeping you in a state of knowing, in a state of being, and that divine feminine knowing will be helpful with a flight risk. So, again, absolute tips for this are, the moment the man says, I need time, I need to get away, I'm going, the best thing you can do is to let that happen. As much as it's going to be painful in the moment, because you want to talk it through, you need to talk it through, if he just understands, you can get your point across. Well, that's actually not going to work in that moment. It is not. He's not receptive to it. The moment he says, I'm going, he's trying to stay. For example, and you may see it if you go back and you look at that stuff with the Johnny Depp trial, is that he wanted to please in the moment and tried. And again, we're dealing with someone who is also dealing with his level of dysfunction, right? But and maybe the addictions were at play at that time, and he may have been high. And if you are with a man and he is drinking, drugs, and you're trying to have any kind of meaningful, rational conversation, well, good luck with that, right? I mean, that's just silliness. And don't ever have a confrontation or verbal altercation with someone who is drunk or high, or I mean, it's just an exercise in futility. So just scratch it and say, you know what, I see, we're not going to get anywhere with this, and we're both not in a place. Again, pointing fingers at anyone, you're drunk, so I'm not doing this. Well, probably won't remember anyway, so it's maybe not going to be that hurtful, but I mean, it's just, there's no point to it. Just go. Just say, I'm going to get you some, let's see, some water, make sure you're okay, not passed out, and then I'm going to go. And you do. Or you sleep in another space so that there's distance. Distance is going to help you whenever there is confrontation that the man cannot handle in an absolutely rational and respectful way in that moment. And that takes certainly not being high or drunk, but also the man's higher state of being. And many times when emotional or tweaked or triggered, the man cannot. So giving him that space is going to do wonders. And if you stand in your firmness and in your all-knowing of, okay, I know you'll be back and we'll be able to handle this like two adults in a more rational state, he is going to respect the hell out of that. That's going to be amazing. It's going to heal. It's going to help. but it's going to be to the degree that you can do that. It is going to trigger you. What are you going to do when it happens? So, for example, you have this verbal altercation, or you have an argument, or a misunderstanding, or whatever it is, and he either is, AWOL, and you know why, and then, or he leaves during it actually happens, and he says, I'm out of here, and he goes. What are you going to do? This is where, if you have kind of a game plan for yourself for those times, actually 5 things written out that you can do. Maybe it's try your best friend and vent with her. She can do it, great. If not, what else are you going to do? Are you going to go for a walk? Are you going to go for a run? Are you going to turn on your favorite music and immediately get out of that mind state? Are you going to meditate? What is it for you? Everyone is different. But to have those little methods for yourself, those little steps to take so that he will come back. He will. And you have to live in that state of knowing. That's what I talk about in terms of the manifesting mindfulness that I mentioned here a lot. You must get into that state of, I see, he's calming down. He's coming around. We will have our talk. How can I best present what I really feel is super important? Just 1 or 2 points. That's it. That we'll want to come back to so that it doesn't happen again. If you are this woman and you do that for this man, you're going to be way up here in his eyes. He's going to love you for that. And that's going to allow the love between you to go the distance. So I hope this was helpful today. I'm going to have more videos on these types of tips because I think they are so helpful. Keep watching. Repetition is what helps. You can't get everything in one sitting. You have to hear it again. Maybe come at it from a different standpoint. When you hear it a second time, because we all have our earbuds in and are listening to things while we're doing other things, and you miss something. I do this all the time. I watch experts and people, listen all the time to my YouTube videos, all the people I like and are helpful in all manner of different modalities. And I come back to them again and again and again because I always pick up something that I missed or forgot. And it's like it's new and it's wonderful. And it just keeps solidifying my knowledge. And that's what I want to do for you because knowledge is power. And then you put that power into practice. So be mindful. Certainly, subscribe here and get the alerts, hit that red alert bell so when a new video comes out, you can listen to it. But certainly save your favorites so that you can go back, listen again and again. And I put things on a playlist so you can, if you're dating or relationship stuff like this, it's on the playlist. And follow me on Instagram and on Facebook if you'd like, because I do more question and answer there in lives, and you can be talking to me directly and asking me a question, or put your question below here. I do my best to get back to all of them, and I will see you next time. I trust you got a lot of good information from today's video, and I enjoy bringing you content that is valuable for success in your romantic life. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the alert bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And if you want more on any of the content you see here, you can go to my book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. You can order it at any fine retailer where you get your books. And if you want more on me or any of my programs, my podcast, go to CoachPaulagrooms.com, and we could be talking soon.